Gotta wonder if some of my therapist clients are the deep state. She says some of them don't even show their face. Because like I was concerned at the way it appeared because I was using a different mount and like it was down low. And she goes, well, some people don't even show me their face. Right. I mean, it's not a bad gig. She gets to work from home. She has nobody's gonna like jump through the screen and grab her throat and try to kill her. Right. So again, it has safety features. She gets to work from home and all that good stuff. At least I think she's working from home. Right. But she was a little weirded out today. Right. I don't know what it's all about, but right. Well, deep state tends to be that way. So just as I said, and that's my point. I said my brother wants to act like none of this happened, and everything that a cop does has validity. But of course, he was made wealthy with that same system. Right. So just as I say something like that, the screen blanks, and then it comes back on. Right. And that's when she looked a little shaky, Jigs. And when do we meet next? When's the sheriff department gonna stalk me next? Yeah, they were rats ass people. Some are just jealous, But I got real fit, lost a lot of weight. I was still the same guy. I wasn't like trying not to second anyone. But like they duped everybody into believing like all of a sudden I changed. Right. Thank you, Larry. I think she's in Texas, so Abbott would see to it. Give them full access to Mormon and Starbucks. Whatever the truth is of that Islamic city, it's done for, right? it, hopefully they're not because they didn't even get to the point of being approved. They were still in the planning stage. Right? They're not going to be approved. Right? Improper zoning. You don't say Jesus. I open a city, you better say Jesus. Well, they do respect him as a prophet, I guess. All right, what's the secret word? I'm born again by the blood of the Lamb. Oh, build the city, no problem. Are you say Muhammad? Nah, no city. 100%. But some of them, maybe, believe it or not, they work deep state. Right. immigrants have worked a lot of deep state stuff. Right. That's why they get a lot of big way. Right. Some of them. Well, if your community does that, you can end up having that kind of issue. God bless you, Larry. God bless you. I mean, just a fact of life. They're not going to let. I mean, it like everybody's up in arms, but it never even got to the planet, like any of the approval stage. So it's not like you guys are anything like imminent. We're all like, oh, they're building it, they're building it. Like Sharia law will not be the law in Texas. Nowhere in Texas will there be Sharia law. You know, I hate to see what happens to Loomer in the future. She's bigger than her britches at this point, right? She's like, plebe, fire these people. Right. Well, she made herself a pretty big target. Right now she's protected, but right, she's gonna be back where she was probably. Everybody's being mean to me. Remember that? Remember those days? The only question is, who'd she give sex up to? You know, to have that all turn around. Correct, Larry. Nah, I think, yeah, she's doing too much. She's doing too much. Because Trump's not going to be in power the whole time. I mean, his power circle's probably limited. Right. No, she's going after some big people. Right. One day the Republican Party will return to normal. It just will. I'll just tell you that. It's not going to be forever like that. In fact, Trump sold himself out if he was real about or MAGA out. Yeah, he was promising all sorts of stuff at the end. So I'll tell you what, the Islamic people have nobody to blame but themselves. Right. I agree. I mean, no matter who you voted for, what makes Islamic people think that Trump's going to stand up for them? I agree. Or at least, Republican Party. But I sure hope, Israel does it the right way. Well, Hamas still exists. They're still carrying rifles. They're still militant. So again, it is what it is, right? I never said Hamas was good people, right? But don't lower yourself to their level. Like I said, I mean, if you distribute food, like instead of letting Hamas do it, you do it. Right. Don't shoot them, but like it did the one time. I think they shot into the crowd. Right. Well, the kids get to see you distributing the food and giving them food. Then you change that next generation. 100%. Instead of seeing you like arrest their mother for protesting or because somebody a settler called on them because they were complaining about uh, the settler on their olive orchard or whatever they call it. No, I mean, you can't ignore the psychology of the last 15, 20 years. Right. My whole thing was, it's the perfect plan. You have to find a Palestinian. Like, there's no reason that the Palestinian Authority couldn't have been schmoozed in the right direction. Right. And then you both get rid of Hamas. That's what you want. I mean, you could have probably got the international court to cooperate if you did it right. Well, they were stealing international aid, not letting it reach the people. You make a case like that, and you go in with Fatah to arrest them. Right. And then they're finished, right? Right. And again, the whole tunnel thing, like, what are you doing? Right. Collapse those tunnels fast as they put them up. Right. That's what it seems like you thought maybe you could get them in trouble by allowing some of that. Sure. So many ways to do stuff. When you got people like Rick Henry in charge, you don't know a darn thing about nothing. Right. Make sure. Rick, when we talk about him, he should have stayed away from my family. He had no jurisdiction or authority messing up my family. Him and his buddy, little girl. I mean, what they do is in your mind, you all can't see the amount of time that they did this to me, right? Day in and day out. Like here's how it works, right? So there's this person working at the counter at our gym, right? And she invites me to her birthday party, and I figured everybody in the gym was going to go to the birthday party, right? I didn't go, and I didn't know. I guess she was 17. I thought she was maybe like 19 or something like that. Not that I was going to like have sex with her, but I felt like everybody in the gym was going to go. So this one girl was like, "Oh, I can't believe you're going to go," and I wasn't going to go. I just like was small talk at the counter. Oh, what's your name? Birthday party today. Oh, she's a young girl. You're going to go, and she's like, I don't even know how old this woman was. She was like, I don't know. She could have been an agent for all I know. Right. I was like, I'm not going. I never went anywhere in Naples. They try to make it like I was going to go to some young girl's party for like some pickup or something. Let's use this and fighting people at the gym, and we were all going to meet over there or something. I think I went once to something from the gym. I can't even remember what it was. It was like a bar or something. Right. No, because when you're like in gyms and like in churches, sometimes the age groups are diverse, right? Right, especially back then. I mean, now people tend to be a little. Actually, no, I guess not. I don't know. It's like what they do is their weirdo world. They try to put it into me. Like I'm living their weirdo world. Right. No, I was actually repulsed by the girl, but I try to be nice to her. That's like, if I'm out here walking around, just goofing around like this, I'm getting a little better. Right. At least that part of me. I definitely feel like I'm more bilaterally moving. I'm still not 100%. Yeah, it's got to be that anti-inflammation formula. Darn, I can't believe I couldn't get to that all these years. I couldn't think of nothing, believe me. And they were like, I guess. Now, there's something wrong with the ashwagandha. There is. I just definitely got the first real deal in a long time, and it's a low dose one. They don't care. They ruin the world for their own enrichment and narcissistic joy. Is that one of them? Is named Joy? Narcissistic Joy? Is that her name? No, I can't believe my upper back and my neck are starting to free a little bit. I mean, because it's been a long time. It's been tight even before I got here, but it was better than it. I mean, it wasn't killing me. Believe me, people in those agencies made money off the stuff I told them to do, and success. So Trump used that winning word again. Winning, which really doesn't bid well for the program. Some big investment. Sheem. Thanks, Jerry, for everything. No idea of everything. At first, I was even at the point where I wouldn't say anything. I would just send them messages online, not online, but I guess online, but in secrecy, right? Do this, do that. Thank you for your service, right? And they said we can't have him like this. He's credible. He knows we're all criminals. I mean, millions of people on Earth say this is, like even RFK Jr. says stuff about CIA, right? 100%. Trump says stuff about CIA, right? They see it ain't real, but that's how what they use, like to cry, Joey said something about us. So yeah, I wasn't feeling 200% about the procedure. Something blocked it, and he felt it too. So hopefully, I get better a little bit without it. If I could just get my left side a little stronger, throughout the day, I'd be fine. Like I wake up sometimes and it's perfect, but it doesn't last. Right? The left side gets a little weepy, weepy, weepy. I'm kind of weirded out by feeling a little bit, and then also getting like, I got hearing aids. Like, you know what I mean? Right. It's like up and down at the same time. Right. Like I really didn't care. I was like, then I got that floater mile. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's Satan. Because because Satan's one, it knows that, it's not God. Believe me. Again, I got a click in my ear even when I said it's not God. So God let me know that it wasn't God. Right. I mean, God wants me to have a great life. Believe me. But I was reading online that it appears as black strands, and that's what showed up right from the beginning, and it was real bad. I was like, "What the hell is that?" It's like an old movie projector with dirt on the film or something, right? But what I didn't know that it could heal and all that, right? But it takes a while. Thank you, Lee. Hey, it's really weird because I have all the flashes of light inside my apartment from the imitation flame. So they tell you to look out for flashes of light. I'm like, is that one? Oh no, it's in the light bulb there. Yeah, I just had this. And it may have. I mean, he may have done the procedure and made it worse. Right. If it got irritated, if all his nerves got irritated. Right. No, it's just so weird. It's like I was possessed and I couldn't get to anything. Right. Like even God shows me, like I was at this one pain management dude that was totally wacko before I even had COVID. That's probably where I contracted COVID. And like right near that is, like with the stone's throw is this new massage therapist. Now she's expensive, but she knows what she's doing. Their place is clean. She's really nice. She doesn't cover my eyes and freak me out. What are you gonna do next? You're covering my eyes. Are you stealing my? Like, it's the black guy. So are you stealing from my money? That was the weird part. It's the black guy. He's stealing your money. That's why he covers your eyes. I think he doesn't like people looking at him. Right. Like self-conscious. That's what I think it was. That part I'm not into. But he put like I'm having trouble breathing because my sinuses are, and he's got trouble breathing too. He's like making these noises, and I'm like, okay, it's not just me. This place is nasty. Every massage place this happens. I don't know why. Right. So, but I'm like getting ready to turn over. I'm like, yeah, I'll be able to breathe better, and I'll be able to see instead of having my face pressed into the, that whatever that thing is, that circular thing on the massage bay. I forget what they call it. Right. And and the next thing I know, there's a towel over my eyes. I'm like, what? He's like, relax, relax. I'm like, well, I'm not that relaxed with my eyes covered. Right. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. But I was able to deal with it, and right, it wasn't way I wanted to be. Right. Now, when I'm face down, my sinuses are clogged. As soon as I go face up, my sinuses open back up again. So when I was at the last massage therapist, she's like, I was going to tell her I prefer face up, but my forms got crossed, and the one that I was supposed to hand in to her, I didn't have with me. So, and then like she said, start face up. I was like, okay, like intuitive, kind of thing. Right. Well, like yeah, you have to have like a semi-strong back, especially if some of your discs are going. So, again, I'm trying to get to that point where I'm not gonna like tighten it up and mess it up. So I have to get it soft so I can begin to do the other thing. And that guy who's the guy at Costco, where his name's Israel, and his parents are missionaries in Spain. He grew up in Spain. He he's a pretty good guy. Right. I went in there. He said, "I'd be doing the same thing you're doing if I were you." But he said, he said, I said, "It's pretty hush hush." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "We only found out a couple days before." Right. And I don't know if it's the day. It may have been the day after I bought it or the day I bought it. So essentially, how you doing? All right. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a little weller. I think it was tight cranial tissues that did it. Right. And cops stressing me out wouldn't do that, right? Not unless I was a criminal, right? That's how their weirdo psychology works. Every police department owes me $1 million. It's at least $1 million. Everyone that's done it. No, God's with me. There's no doubt. Like they're chasing me, and I don't get out of my vehicle. Right. And then a few years later, Arthur Lloyd gets out of his vehicle, and they ends up shooting him and going to jail. Right. See, same setup. I that drunk Navy dude may have been working for somebody. The man told him, anytime you see Arthur Lloyd, you give him shit. So when the police didn't want to testify, that's what I thought it was. Because the Warrant Service was behind the prosecution, so it definitely wasn't. That's the system, right? So they were definitely weren't system, helping the system, quote unquote, right? Or the blue line. I think it was just, you know, they probably figured out what was going on once that happened, right? They harassed over the years. They harassed Arthur Lloyd, Montgomery County PD. I don't know if they knew what the deal was or who he was or what it was, but I guess they put it together, right? So nobody wanted to testify because they knew it was a setup. Right? I mean, Arthur Lloyd wasn't the most liked deputy marshal, but they weren't going to participate in the setup, right? But had to again. A couple of them got forced to testify. Right. Thanks. Like it's so illegal because he's working as a deputy marshal, and they'll say, "Well, we're just investigating him," but you're stressing the guy out every day you can, right? That's why he got sued to begin with. You all act like it's not happening. And quite frankly, maybe Matt back then, maybe Matt Burke didn't know it was happening. Right. So this woman that was at Costco when I was there, she was complaining because she puts batteries in her any like replaceable battery hearing aid's not going to last. Right. You're going to have to, like she replaced it, but these are like even less now. And they told her they have no idea why she's having such a problem, but it could be because her new prescription might take up more of the power. Right. But I felt like telling her, what you have to do is you got your. She didn't buy the right. I don't know. She probably maybe she had to pay it out of pocket. I don't know what kind of hearing aid she had. But again, they got ones now. Actually, the one they have there is 31. Although the idea is that she doesn't have time to recharge it because she wears it all the time. So I was going, I didn't, I just felt a little bit like maybe I shouldn't have bought because she was really heated. But I was going to tell her if you can afford, you go on. Right. And maybe she wasn't technologically advanced. I don't know. But you go on Amazon, you buy one for a few $100, right? And you have a spare one, like it's like $400, something like that. And then you have a spare one, you charge that one up, and when you go to sleep, you put that one on, right? And then the other one, or even if you just want to charge the other one in the middle of the day, right? I don't have it like fully in my ear when I go to sleep. It's kind of like laying in there. I think sometimes it's in my ear, but usually it's just like usually it's like falls off somewhere in the middle of the night. Right, I'm rolling around. That's okay because those don't stay in as good as these. I was surprised when I bought these. Right. First, when I didn't have one, I was like surprised when I got one. I'm like, oh, okay. Then, but see, the first hearing test I took on the first pair wasn't as accurate. I was like, screw hearing. Right. But then these are like that get programmed. They're like amazing. Right. You can turn it up to eavesdrop on people. What are they saying over there? See? Right. Now they're gonna accuse me of eavesdropping on people. I keep seeing this lady. I was a young guy trying to marry this black woman. She's my kind of person. Right? Just too old. I dig her. Kind of stays versatile, but she like the way she dresses and the way she acts. Always styling. Like now, looking at her, well, she looks like she's not really like dressed up right now. She's got like a black top on, some jeans, and has her hair a certain way. I mean, yeah, she looks good. And then she walks into the clearing and she's got neon green like stiletto heels on. Like, well, there goes that plane image. I don't know where she shops. But it's different than everybody else. That's for sure. She looks great all the time. Like she could be on television or in like an ad. She looks like that. Or on the internet. I always say marry. I don't say have sex with. Right. That's what the deep state keeps projecting. Age is just a number. Have sex with people. That's the deep state. Yeah, if they were honest, they'll tell you they ran an operation to try to get me to have sex with young people. Right. Boy, whoever cut the grass today, really, these people are getting worse for what they're doing. I don't know why. It's very uneven. And the dude that came up with the weed whacker was like, just like, I don't even know what he was doing. He just like walked around the building and went zig, zig, zig. Like he just hit small sections instead of doing the weed whacking. Maybe he doesn't know. I don't know. He has to know how to weed whack. He's not really weed whacking. He's just going zit, zit. He'll just like touch it to something while he's walking. But he's not like right here. He goes, the whole line. He's not doing that. Look at all that tall grass right there. Right. Yeah, they messed it up. I hate to tell on him. Maybe I'll tell their boss if he comes around. Right. Sometimes the boss comes in a pickup truck. I'll just say, you got to start getting him to focus a little bit. Right. He was walking. He wasn't like weed whacking like you usually do. He would just like every so often touch it to something like he was weed, like making it look like he was weed whacking. Right. So he would cut a piece here, cut a piece there. Right. He's supposed to get every high spot, but he's not even getting like the high spots that are around trees and stuff like that. Right. Or plants or whatever, poles. Right. Yeah, this looks like shit. I never seen it this bad. But I guess who knows what they pay here? It might be like a cut rate. Yeah, I'm glad I got off of that other ashwagandha. It was like I don't know. It was almost like it was doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do. But this is the weird part. Like it's like making me feel depressed, like a little bit. And I'm like, what? And then like I'm online, and like all of a sudden the deep state starts sending me depression. You have depression. So I'm like, did they like change it? And like knowing it would depress me, and now they're trying to convince me I'm depressed. I mean, that's not past. That's not beyond what they do, man. They're wackos, unrepentant wackos. Thanks, Leary. All these people aren't wrong. Like what people? My brother? My brother? Just go through the wiretap and you'll see how wrong my brother is. Right. I'm sure there's a wiretap with him on it and all the bullshit he said with my mother. And of course, the agents went, "Oh, Larry's brother and his mother are some of the best people in the country. They're very dependable people." But you hear Larry going, "Look, Mom, Steve is okay. Don't, you're protecting him." And my mother called you. I was like, "What are you running me in the ground for?" Every time Mom tells me your shit, I tell her, "No, no, no, he's not. Relax, Mom." Right, I agree. Like, yeah, yeah. That's what people say. Like, you were raised by God. I mean, you have a messed up life, but you didn't turn out like your family. There's no way your family raised you. There's no way. Right. And like my brother's whole excuse, like years ago, they used to make me leave for Thanksgiving down in the condo because my mom and I got in an argument on Thanksgiving, and his son was there, right? And it wasn't like "f you, mom" or anything. It was just, I guess we had some sideways words. I don't remember what it was. So he says he doesn't want to come around. He just want his son to see it. But my brother, like, he's like weird because he lights into my mother all the time. Right. I mean, he was a CFO. He sees himself as right. You know what I mean? Right. Thanks, Larry. We appreciate it. I used to always yell at my mom, yell at his wife. Right. So I'm sure Ethan heard my brother yell at my mom like a million times. It's like he's just weird. He's weird like that. Could be he's wired to the deep state. I don't know. Right. So like I told like the therapist, I said, look, when I came out, my brother's not fooling me. I don't know what he's up to. But when I came out of the government, I got him to say almost everything I needed him to say to know that he knows it exists. Right. Well, his opinion, like, oh, we need people to like, because it gave him probably millions of dollars, right? So he's like, we need people to make sure nobody bad gets in, that kind of stuff. But I said, they're the ones that cause the bad. Right. I agree with it. But I like played it. He told me my mother said some things. Right. So I knew. It's like I knew I wasn't crazy. It's just like I know I'm not crazy about people going in there and taking stuff from behind the locked door. Now the only question is whether they took it while maybe I was out and it was unlocked. Right. And then like when I walk around complaining about it, they return it. Right. Say ah. Right. But the weird part is they did it right now. They placed it right next to the Ten Commandments. They stole. I don't know if they stole it from there or not. I think they did. Right. So they stole it from like right in front of the Ten Commandments, and then returned it. To mess with my head right in front of the Ten Commandments. No, they're trying to get me to do that thing. Remember that dramatic thing I did where I drilled the microphone? Right. They're trying to get me to do something like that. Not testing me. They're trying to trigger that using psychological methods. So I got to do this baptism thing. I figure out if I want to buy another jacket or do I use this one. I could probably go over to the cleaners, drop this off. Might look good if it gets cleaned. It'll look better. But like they're like you're supposed to be like a humble saint though. You're not supposed to like get too dressy. Right? So it doesn't really matter. Well, the weird part is this has gold buttons, and all the other blazers I'm looking at nowadays have silver buttons, and all my trim is gold. Like all my tie tacks, my Christus lapel pin, my Salt Lake City Temple tie bar. I just ordered the Kansas City ones. I was going to give those out, but I was like, do I give the people that are helping with my baptism the Kansas City Temple tie bar or tie tack, or I guess tie tack, or do I give them the Christus? Right. Christus one out. But the weird part is when I woke up, like I waking up, I would say Jesus Christus. Now Christus is in several religions, but it's just so weird. Hey, Jesus' name in Spanish is Jesus, just in case you don't know. Hey, Zeus. Could be Zeus in the because the again, what do they call it in LDS? The you're supposed to emulate the divine beings or something like that, right? Well, that they like Jesus shows up a lot of places on Earth, but as something else. It's just how the interaction works within the Earth environment. He's still seen as a superior being. It's just him and Mary are different things. Right. I'm almost convinced that I'm pretty convinced that the Puerto Rican because how fast Catholicism and all that went in Puerto Rico, so it's like a prep. So he shows up in Puerto Rico, him and Mary as the mother and the son, and there is a mother and son deity in Puerto Rico, but it's something a little more mythological. But then when Catholicism comes or Christianity comes, they go, "Oh, Mary, mother and son, okay," and then they're ready for it. See. Thank you, Larry. So they said kind of the same thing about Horus in Egypt. And I said, well, see, that's meant to be like that. It's Jesus. They say they say Jesus was fake because it's just like Horus. When I woke up, something like that was going around. I said, no, no, it's they're the same people, like spirit, right? Horus and I guess whoever Horus's mother is, it's Mary and Jesus. So, but that was done so that one of the things that it did was give Jesus protection in Egypt. Like me, I'm law, so I had protection in Egypt. Right? If I would have died in that plane crash, and I wouldn't have gotten super shape. Like I've never been able to run like I was able to run, but not like I could when I left Egypt. When I left Egypt, I was superstar, right? Because I did PT with the grunts. We did PT with the grunts. I think every morning. I can't remember, maybe 3 times a week. I can't remember how many times we did it. But we did that, and then at night I work all day doing the construction work and the all that manual labor in the sun. Right. I'd eat a. I wouldn't eat dinner. I'd go and get like some. I take home. I like at lunch or whenever or breakfast. I take boiled eggs and I'd have a bunch of stuff back at my place that I pilfered from the mess hall. And then I would go run. I think it was a 11K, 12K. I think a 12K. I can't even remember what it was, but I'd run pretty far. Like considering that it's the end of the day, and I've been working all day, and I ran in the morning a lot of times. So I'd run at night, and then when I was doing my PT test, Sergeant Major Black was out there, and I came zipping around the corner. And like he didn't know I was doing. I don't know if he even knew I was doing my PT test. He's like, "Go, go, go!" So Satan killed him in a plane crash. They can't root for me, Sergeant Major Black, or they kill you. Oh my God. I forget what I did on that PT test. Probably near maxed it, if not maxed it, at least for the run. Right. Probably maxed it. But he walked up to me. I have a lot of respect for him, more than any sergeant major I ever met. He was a big. I think he was Big Red. Was he Big Red One? Or not Big One. He was 101st in Vietnam, I think. I have to look to make sure. And he walked up to me and said, "You been on a pass yet?" He didn't know me from nobody. I'm sorry, Major. I ain't been over. Well, sorry, Major. I'm planning on a couple weeks. Oh, okay, okay. Make sure you get on it. Tear me up for not being on pass. Man that knows things. They kill him just for what he knew, right? Thanks, Larry. Thank you, friend. Then we were down at what was that thing? What did they call that? Not the Emporium, the Coliseum. What was that thing? Amphitheater. We're down at the amphitheater, and I forget what we were doing, watching a movie or doing something. But everybody had a little something to drink, and Sergeant Major. That's why I said I wasn't ready to go. I was drunk. I wasn't too bad. Everybody else was drunk. But Phil Caudle, he didn't drink. He passed away in that plane crash. He studied the Bible like every day. Like we'd be going down the amphitheater to drink some wine or some beer, and there we Caudle. Phil Caudle studied the Bible, listen to the tapes from his preacher, Baptist preacher. Then we went to, I think on the trip, I went to St. Catherine's, Masada, and Elat. And I think we went with the preacher. Was that the first one or the second one? The chaplain used to take us on those. He used to, supervise the. No, it was the Dead Sea. Yeah, it was. We went to Masada, I think. Then the Dead Sea, or he may have just. We may have one of them. I may have just went to Catherine's. Yeah, one of them I just went to St. Catherine's. That may have been with the preacher. And then we went to Masada. I went to St. Catherine's twice. Those are individual trips, right? So I went to St. Catherine's twice. And I went to I climbed Mount Sinai twice without even thinking about it. I didn't have that memory. Moses climbed it twice. So I climbed Mount Sinai twice, and I went to Masada. I went to the Dead Sea, and I went to Eilat. And I did get drunk at Masada. I was mourning their death. I that cheap Israeli beer. We drank that cheap Israeli. We put that guy. That guy was. I think we drank all his beer. Like there's like a little shack or something that sells refreshments at a pavilion, and we slept at the pavilion. So we just there was the shack with the beer. It's sleeping bags. Right. So then we went to the Dead Sea after Masada. I think Masada was the first stop, and then we went to the Dead Sea. And Speedy got in there, and he's like, "Oh, my hemorrhoids." Speedy was a Puerto Rican guy from Philly. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He got out pretty quick. But it's like you're really buoyant in the Dead Sea, right? So then we went to a lot, and we didn't do much there. I mean, we got there later in the day, and I got a lot of guys were pairing off with prostitutes and stuff. And right, it's just a shame. And it's one the most beautiful girl you ever saw, and it's guys pairing off with prostitutes. There's some beautiful women in a lot. Beautiful women in Israel. I always wanted to go back. I never made it back. I wanted to go back to see if I get married. Like I thought they were all like like my bubby's family, dark skin and dark hair, right? Redhead, blonde, right? Beautiful. But so we go to sleep. Like we didn't do much. Like we went to this club, and like just as we got to the club, the music turns on, and the dance floor lights up, and I'm with like black guy, a Puerto Rican. I think like two Puerto Ricans and a black guy, and a white guy that can't dance, right? So the latest, next, it was like break dancing time or something. I forget what the dance was then, but there they go, poof. And then all the Israelis gave up and stuff. But like that's where we slept. Like we only spent like a short time there. I don't know. I guess we were tired from the night before. That's what it was, because we stayed up late drinking that stuff, the Israeli beer, Maccabee beer. That's it, Maccabee beer. Kind of cheap beer, but it's good. I mean, it's cheap beer. Good for GIs. So we were tired. So as soon as we walked away from that, I don't think we did much more. Next thing you know, we were asleep. Oh wait, it was all right the whole day, right? I missed the day. First, it was the daytime, right? So I'm changing into I'm at the back of the beach trying to change into my shorts. So like, right over there, just change right there. Like a dummy, I did it. And as soon as I get my pants down, and I got like one leg in the I got like one leg in the shorts. So like, hey, look at this guy! All the Israelis turn around. I'm like naked on the beach. That's so funny. And then that was the daytime, yeah. So we did go swimming a little bit and everything. And then the nighttime we got changed. I guess we were in. I guess we took a shower real quick on the beach. I think they had showers or something. And but then kind of right after that point, we just crashed. And then like I'm sleeping in like a military sleeping bag, and all of a sudden I wake up and I'm looking down a barrel of like a machine gun. Some Israeli soldier. He goes, meh. And he just keeps going because he see I'm American, probably, right? And I don't know if I even said anything. I can't remember. But yeah, you got helicopters overhead. It's a patrol because that was the infiltration route. Was the water, right? I don't know if it's still used or how they do it now, but that was the big infiltration route. Was the beaches and the water, so they had to be careful. But like when I was there, a lot was going through this. Like it's like a hippie era, right? And we were walking down the streets. I remember you see the soldiers off duty carrying their machine guns, right? I thought Ben Gavir left. He's back. At least the news article said he was back for some reason. I guess he never left, huh? Ben Gavir was like, no, we should just line him up and shoot him. That's great strategy, Ben Gavir. That's why we're here today, because that's what we were doing before. Somebody said that Ben Gavir witnessed something, or somebody like multiple things, and like some people got killed, right? And so, but he saw he lost friends or something or family or I don't know. I don't know if it's real. It just came inside before. I thought Ben Gavir resigned. Oh, he resigned from the government coalition. Wait, what does that mean? It says he resigned from his cabinet, but he still held that job. No, there it is. I believe there should be prayer at the Temple Mount, but I believe everybody should be able to pray. Right. So I believe it Ben Gavir to a certain degree. I don't know if he would agree that Muslims have a right to pray there or not. Correct. Thank you, Larry. And Christians and so on. Yeah, but I don't think the plane is usable. Right. I don't know. Maybe they can come up with something there, but I don't. You can't fly. President can't fly on that. Right. Really, all you could do is really for personal venture without mentioning anything business, that kind of thing. Right. I mean, you could even do it for big. You can't talk on it. Right. Can't speak business unless they do all the work, and then you still don't know. Well, there's so many technologies today. Anything that's in there could be some sort of device that can transmit once it's energized or whatever it is. Right. That's just the spy should have already weighed in and say that it's not feasible. Just not sure how you would be sure. I mean, even if you spent all that money, right? That's why it goes from the ground up, kind of deal, right? It's built in a secret environment because you don't know where that's been. Like even the Qatari government may not even know, or Qatar, whatever they call it, Qatari, whatever it is, right? They may not even know what's on that plane. Somebody could have wiretapped them, with something, right? It's just you're talking about the president of the United States, Air Force One. I mean, you cannot use that. I mean, it would take years to be sure, and you still couldn't be 100% sure, right? I mean, you would have to know that each freaking part is actually a real part, not a part that they reproduced with some internals. Right? What do you think, Larry? When I got to Texas, I was freaked out because I was still, could walk well. My life, I mean, I had a little bit of aches and pains going on. And I looked at all the veterans and I was like, what the hell? They're all on drugs and canes. And one guy had no legs. It was like an ominous omen, but, I didn't know what could I do about it. Right. I just wish probably that's the worst thing I ever did was leave Oklahoma at that point. Right. I figured I'd get, into an apartment pretty clean, pretty quick, and right, everything would work. Shoot. They indicted the judge in Wisconsin, one that was hiding the immigrants. I have no idea why she would do it. Right. Gerard Depardieu has been found guilty of sexually assaulting two women on a film in Paris and given a suspended jail term of 18 months in 2020. Two women and groping them filming. Yeah, but he's got no jail time and he wasn't even in the court for the sentencing or for the verdict. They're saying it's a victory for two women on a film, sad victory for all women. Right. But he's got to pay some compensation. Oh, he's placed on a sex offender list. It's only $1,118 to each victim. Oh wait, I have. Let's see. I think I'm supposed to have. Oh shoot! I gotta plug this thing in. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God and all.